against Protoss, and it didn't work out too well. Now keep in mind that time the Infestors were trying to use NP against Colossi, and I think we did have Colossus on the way earlier. Select sees all the Infestors with his Observer. He sees all the Infestors, so he knows what is going on. The Overseer is just going to follow in the Observer. Detector versus Detector. But I did see a Robotics Support Bay. There we go, Robotics Support Bay. Extended Thermal Lance on the way. Now last time we saw Infestors versus Colossi, didn't work out too well. Colossi just have so much range they can outrange the Infestors. Select here saying, I've never played versus Infestor with Toss. LOL, don't do this to me. So Select, you know, he's not a Protoss player. And, I mean, Infestors versus Colossus is even more rare. So, I mean, this is probably his, like he said, his first time ever. We'll see how he handles this. All he has to do is keep his Infestors back, use the force fields, get as much range as possible, and his Colossus should be fine. He has 1 on production right now. His Thermal Lance is nearing completion. Weapons level 2 being chrono boosted out. Protoss player in terms of income, 79 Harvesters. My goodness. Where is his 3rd expansion? He needs to get a 3rd and Maynard his probes pronto. He's still making Harvesters. I would say at this point, stop it, man. You're you know, too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, and too many probes can be a bad thing. So Select should definitely quit that. He's still making more. He has 1 Colossus right now. Sjow at 134 supply has a ton of Infestors. They have max energy. Oh man, if those Infestors land off a good Neuroparasite or a couple of Neuroparasites on the Colossus, that can really change the tide of battle. Missile attacks level 2. We also have tunneling claws being researched for the roaches. Finally, we're seeing a push out from Select. He only has a singular Colossus though. I think he realizes that there's too many Infestors. He doesn't want to focus too much on Colossus. 162 supply to 158. Very close battle here, but I think Select might be a little bit behind an army because he's got so many more probes. Good force fields, but he's not bringing the Colossus back, and the fungal growth and the Neuroparasite catching everything. And the Protoss player is gonna fall here. Select is just gonna get overrun. Good play by Sjow. I really like the fungal growth to stop the Colossus from running away and then landing the Neuroparasite. Key play right there. And another fungal growth to stop that Colossus from retreating once the control is lost. Sjow looking very good this game. I think he will take it. He is going to kill off this 3rd Nexus, and I think we are going to be looking at a 1-1 moving into game number 3 here in the semifinal B. Winner of this game will play against Laylish. That is right, a very good Zerg player. So Sjow looking strong. He's got 63 income right now compared to 87, but I really think 87 is just overkill. We have 2 Colossus on production for Select, but I just don't think it's gonna work. There's just too many Infestors right now. Select never went for a 3rd expansion, and now he's really paying the price. His minerals are almost about to run out, and once that runs dry, that's pretty much the lifeline of this Protoss army. Once that runs dry, I think he will have to tap out. Sjow at 165 supply has just a menacing army of roaches, hydras, and Infestors. If you're a Protoss army commander, if you're an executor and you see this is like, oh, slay me now. Take me, because it's just not going to happen for the Protoss player. I don't think Select can make this game work for him. He's got better upgrades, maybe 1 armor, 2 weapons. Zerg player at 0 armor, 2 weapons, so he does have 1 extra armor upgrade. Sjow though has full map control. He's getting the 4th expansion down. He's actually making an army of changelings now to run in and scout the enemy Protoss to see exactly what he's up to. We did have a Warp Prism being produced. I wonder if that thing is moving out. There we go. So Select is gonna try to get a Nexus up here on the island, but unfortunately for him, Sojaw's already spewing out the creep. He's pooping it down, and there's nothing that Select can do about this unless he warps in a Stalker to fend that off. But that's definitely kind of annoying as a Protoss. And now you've even got creep kind of coming in across the central shortcut here, across the rocks. So there's just creep infesting all of this entire, what is this thing called? Scrap station, this pretty much land station out in the middle of space. Creep is just coming in from all directions, and Select unfortunately can't really do anything about it. He is going to bring in this Stalker and warp in a Photon Cannon, but Sjow knows. He knows there's going to be a Nexus there. He now has a gold expansion up. He's caught up pretty much towards the Protoss player, and he's cut off drone production as well, not producing anymore. That's good because, you know, after 70, I think that's the max. You don't really want to make any more. And look at that. We have a Nidus network going down for Sjow. So he's going to try to Nidus into this island expansion, I would assume. And he's almost ready to get that Nidus network up. That can be huge. He's also getting Hive Tech on the way. He's got 3,500 minerals. He's banking at max supply, 200, 200. What's the Protoss at? Protoss is at 186, 186. So, you know, one thing that Sjow has allowed the enemy Protoss to do is max out at 200, 200 again. So it is a very deadly ball, especially if Select attacks at a good, favorable terrain like this choke point. But one thing the Zerg player can do is just re-macro so quickly. A lot of probes running in here. Is there going to be a fungal growth to kill the probes? No, there is not. Oh, Phoenix coming in to lift off the infestors. Good play right there from Select, but I don't know. There's just so many roaches, so many hydras. The Colossus, though, have very good positioning, but now the infestors landing down, finally coming off the graviton beam to mind control the enemy Colossi, and they are just laser beaming their friends down. I think all the probes went haywire or perhaps died as well. No, they're all just running back. And the entire Protoss army falls. Select losing everything, showing that he is a Terran player, not a Protoss. Maybe he'll finally switch after this game. The probes now have nowhere to mine. They've pretty much run out, run dry. This is way overpopulated, so these probes are going to be forced to defend. Is it going to be enough to hold off these hydras? Such high DPS with +2 weapons. Calling out the force fields, but the force fields really, I don't know. There's a couple hydras left. But I think that Select's days are running thin against a 4-base operational Zerg, not to mention he does have the gold. Although he's not main-arting his workers over. This is really one thing that Sjow has kind of kicked himself in the butt several times, is not bringing, look, he's got all these idle workers. He's not been using his workers effectively. And we do have a warp prism just kind of chilling here as well. Is Select going to warp in stuff? We'll keep an eye on that. But Sjow still, I think, has a much stronger economy, 2,000 minerals per minute compared to 500. So he's really banking on a lot of resources as well, 3,000 minerals. Select running low on both minerals and Vespene gas. He's just now started to warp in this Nexus, but I mean, unfortunately for him, he just doesn't really have any means to get saturation over there unless he uses this warp prism. But it's just not looking good at all. The Protoss player completely confined. If you look on the mini-map, Sjow controls pretty much everything. He's got a maximized army once again at 200, 200. Roaches and Hydras, +1 armor or +2 weapons. The Protoss player at a measly 90 food. So I think this game will end in favor of our Zerg player, and we're just waiting to see that GG. Here it comes, Roaches and Hydras, March of Death, pushing forward. I think this is going to call Select to tap out, and there we go, GG call Select. So a little bit drawn out towards there at the end, but hey, long games are still long games, and I do enjoy casting long games. Now, make sure you guys stay tuned in. The next game is going to be the semifinal B series finale between Select and Sjow. Winner of that game will go on to play against Lelouch for first place in the TL Open #2. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying this broadcast. I have somehow magically regrown some of the hairs on my head. And so hopefully the Swarm doesn't let me down next game, and we'll see what happens. Thanks a lot, guys. HD signing out.